Hello, everybody. It's Holger Mueller from Constellation Research here to share with you my long overdue takeaways from Microsoft's developer conference, Microsoft Build, held as typically in Seattle back in early June. So now we're much later advanced from that perspective. And I struggle with sharing my PowerPoint, which is here as a problem with Microsoft. So what are we talking about, right? We're talking about Build 2020. My headline was Azure, Teams, and Power as the most used applications mentioned there. So what else did Microsoft announce at the conference? First of all, it was the first digital event, as we mentioned before, which was interesting that Microsoft has always done a lot of work around getting the people who couldn't make it to Build. Remember, everybody, registering for Build was typically sold out in minutes, if not 1 hour or so, because of the limited space, typically 5,000, 6,000, 7,000, no matter what Microsoft would do, would not be enough. Now, Microsoft was super happy and proud that it was over 150K plus people attending. Not a big surprise, but also thinking back, like Microsoft did a big job on Channel 9, its developer channel, TV show, significantly cost, I think, to produce it. Obviously didn't get the overall interest of the developer community. So this was a better way to tap into it. Overall event rating, if we're going too much detail, a B, which the stakes are rising for these events. Too much canned content, not enough live content to get more than that. So key takeaways from the event. It's all about Azure, obviously. Azure, first and foremost, front everything. No question, this is the thing that Microsoft wants to developers to build and post and work about. Manifested really well. Microsoft does a great job with the news book of news, where over 85% of all build news were about Azure, and then there was the rest. And this used to be like, going back to my first build conference in 2013, Azure was a respectable 10, 15, 20%. So, and you'll hear this later from my perspective, maybe Microsoft has done a little bit too much in regards of where Azure is, but innovation all across everywhere in Azure, no question about it. Also very prominent right after that was Microsoft talking about Power Apps, right? No surprise from that perspective. Power Apps, very important low-code, no-code environment for Microsoft. They're building a lot of things like COVID response apps and other relevant, important things there, which is all fine and good. But is it the right message for a developer conference? I think so, yes. Developers have long overcome their fear that low-code, no-code is going to replace them, simply because there's so much code which has to be built all over the world that it's pretty much not possible, not feasible for developers to build all of themselves. They need the technical savvy business users to help them building that code. So also relevant for developers. And so far is right, but too much Power Apps, from my view, for my taste, compared to key innovations and parts. And then the third one, which you could not oversee at all at Microsoft event these days, it's Teams everywhere. Kudos to the analyst event, which set all their briefing up in a team setting, which was nice for us analysts to be able to communicate and talk to each other and sharing information from that perspective, and even having contact directly with the team. So a really good approach to showcase their own product, showcasing their own champagne. No surprise, Microsoft's doubling up on that and doing things for developers to be more successful with it, which leads to the key developer news, right, with the Fluid framework, right? And the Fluid framework allows the real-time connection of other Microsoft assets, aka Office, which is pretty dominant, no question about that, in combination with real-time applications, aka potentially Teams or chat applications and so on. So very interested about the success and usage of the Fluid framework. Equally interesting was Project Cortex. Project Cortex is the way to find and arrange content and things in a more intelligent way, something which Microsoft should be better at already, because you own all the clickstream on the Windows machine. You know what I'm doing. I'm reopening an open file, changing to modified first on the 7 UPC. So I'm really annoyed about this. So why doesn't Microsoft remember this? So hopefully Cortex is going to address that. Fifth but not least, and for me personally a little bit disappointing, because I see Build being the thing which is about all of Microsoft, was that there was almost nothing about Windows. You know my big concern from 2 years ago. I think not having someone in charge of Microsoft Windows is one of the few but big mistakes of Satya Nadella. there needs to be someone in charge, tons of issues, not the right vision, issues in support, and just less innovation happening out of Windows. So I think having a 780 million, 800 million user base and not having a leader for that is not the right strategy. Office, very little from the Office side as well. Similar, same thoughts, right? 3, 4, 500 million Office licenses out there. Tremendous need for innovation, for productivity, for enterprise acceleration, shaping really the future of work, and not much for developers. It's a combination of bringing developers and Office together, which I think, in my view, has a lot of potential. And then, of course, debuted at Build 2014, hopefully I got this right, the HoloLens, right? Very exciting platform, the headable PC. Yes, there's been issues. Lots of people have issues with variables, but Microsoft hasn't given up, shipped the second version, but no keynote presence, no update from whatever. And that's what you don't expect from someone like Microsoft. Either you stop a project, I mean, everybody can fail. Microsoft is no exception to that, and say that officially, but you don't go on, off, on, off, on, off, and so on. So, because the on-off is not what you want to have in the developer community. You want to have a consistent platform, and if the platform isn't great, well, you might abandon it, or you double down on it, but you deliver on it, right? So I think it was a good first digital edition of Build. Coming to my overall takeaways, it was too short, I think, on Nadella and overall vision. I remember having the bladder challenge of 4-hour-long Satya Nadella keynote back in San Francisco when it was in Moscone. So it doesn't have to be that long, but just having the greeting message from the CEO is maybe not enough from my perspective in order to show where Microsoft is heading for the developer community. Obviously, Azure is key and center. That's where Microsoft has caught up, is catching up more. The emphasis on power makes sense. Would like to see more Visual Studio power, like two things coming together from a developer perspective. So a lot of things on the new part, not enough for the existing innovation, which I also expect as a Microsoft developer, Microsoft customer, from Microsoft to do things, right? And then my big miss overall, right, which I've been criticizing Microsoft since a long time, is as from the 3 cloud vendors of AWS and Google, as being the one entrenched the most in the enterprise, understanding the platform as a service need for companies to build software, from requirements to product management pieces, to usability tests, to building the code, which Microsoft does with Visual Studio, but not completely integrate from that perspective, to the testing automation, to DevOps. Yes, Microsoft does some things there. The complete enterprise path is what I would like to see from Microsoft. All right, that was it for me. Thanks for watching. This is Holger Mueller from Constellation Research. Follow me at HolgerMU on Twitter. Tons of tweets on there. There's also Wakelet, which I refer to in the one-slide summary. This one-slide summary is published on LinkedIn SlideShare, of course, and other Microsoft property. And you have this video now, and soon the blog post will follow. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it.